It's Monday, November 2nd, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about Outlaws. The nickname I have for this episode is called Poor Sawyer. In Sawyer's flashback, he gets information about this guy about where the real Sawyer is. Also, the guy who told him the bad information, Higgs, I think. Whenever I see him, all I can think about is Terminator 2. Sawyer goes to Australia with the intention to kill this man. He gets this gun from this guy, and the guy looks at him saying, if you are going to kill a guy, you gotta be sure. You're gonna look him in the eye, and that's how you find out who you really are, and that will stay with you for the rest of your life. That idea of if you kill a man, that it stays with you regardless of motivation, not only is it prevalent in this episode with Charlie's kind of subplot, but also we see it again with Sawyer when he actually does kill the real Sawyer, aka Locke's dad, in, I think, the brig. Sawyer kills this guy, and it turns out that he is not Sawyer. It was the guy from Terminator 2 setting him up to do his dirty work for him. Also, the guy who's supposed to be Sawyer, but it's just Frank Duckett, is Meredith's dad on Grey's Anatomy. Yes, I watch Grey's Anatomy. No, I'm not proud of myself. On the island, Sawyer's tent is ransacked by this boar, and Sawyer really thinks that this boar is out to get him, so he's gonna go track him down and kill him with Kate. To get to know each other, the two of them play the game I
never wore pink. I knew it.
The 80s.
Through this game, we find out that Kate was married briefly. She was married to Captain Hammer. Dr. Horrible jokes. Anybody? No? Okay. That part where Sawyer's talking about Kate wanted to come because she wanted to be with the other person on the island who just doesn't belong. Kate doesn't belong? But she's always in the circle of trust. Kate and Sawyer both realize they have a connection in that they've both killed people. The scene where Charlie and Hurley are burying Ethan, and Hurley talks about how Ethan's going to rise from the dead. Really funny to think about now, since we have our friend Mikhail, who has literally seemed to rise from the dead several times. While tracking this boar, Sawyer and Kate run into Locke. Locke tells them a story about how his foster sister died, and soon after that, a golden retriever came, and his foster mother thought that it was his sister. It sets up this idea that the boar that Sawyer's tracking might be, in fact, Frank Duckett. But are they trying to tell us something else with this story? Like another animal on the show might be someone else? Someone named Vincent? Maybe Vincent is Jacob from the future that came back in time as a dog to keep watch over everybody.
Well, that would be silly.
Let's go back to Sawyer's flashback. We have a lost connection between Christian Shepherd and Sawyer. They hang out in a bar, and Christian Shepherd says,
That's why the Red Sox will never win the damn series.
Christian Shepherd is the one that says to Sawyer, if whatever you're here for will relieve your pain, then go ahead and do it. And I think it's because of that that Sawyer kind of gets up the courage to go and kill Frank Duckett, which leads to him becoming, I'm sure, depressed and drunk and unruly, which leads to him being deported on Flight 815. I think it's fair to say that if Sawyer had not killed Frank Duckett, he would not have been on Flight 815. And who's the one that really puts him there on that path? Christian Shepherd, who on the island is known to act on somebody's conscience to put people where they need to be. Just reinstates that whole idea of fate, and these people were meant to be on this plane, and they're there for a purpose. In the last scene of the episode, Jack says to Sawyer,
That's why the Sox will never win the series.
Sawyer puts two and two together that Jack is Christian Shepherd's son, but he doesn't say anything to him. The first time I watched it, I was like everybody else, where I was just so angry, like, why didn't you say something to him? But that leads to that great moment in Exodus Part 1, when Sawyer tells Jack, and Jack gets all emotional, and then I get all emotional because it was very powerful, and the idea of Jack being emotional and crying was still new. So that's where we're going to leave it today, with the Red Sox never winning the damn series. Liz, you're talking about In Translation tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
I feel like I'm doing In Translation. Am I doing 2 episodes in a row? Gosh darn it, this is not a good week for me to be doing 2 episodes in a row. Oh good, I'm not. No, Liz is doing 2 episodes in a row. I love you, Liz, and I know you're not feeling well either, but honestly, this whole video, I just wanted to go crawl back into bed.